Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think he could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Cody, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game that I was at, coincidentally, Dolphins-Patriots.
Chris, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game I was at, Cyclones-Warriors Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that.
Mike Ryan.
Best tie in highlight history.
Mike Ryan, you're not going to say, surely you're not going to say the same thing, and surely you're not going to say the University of Miami game.
Well, since that's off the board, it wasn't a game that I went to, but I was locked in on all like 80-plus points of Texas A&M Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Jeremy, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game that I was at, Marlins-Tigers, Game 2. 11 innings, Troy Johnston walk-off, his second homer of the game. You kidding me?
Billy, what was the best game of the weekend?
Oh, Dan. It's been since 2016. The Don Shula Trophy is back at FIU, the Shula Bowl.
Congratulations.
I can explain my game for you.
How the hell can you guys not have Cowboys-Giants on your list?
Well, you didn't go to the Shula Bowl.
Cowboys-Giants, Russell Wilson just had a career game and lost.
Let me tell you about my game, though. It's Batard Show versus Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
You put the kids to bed.
Did you get in his face?
Well, you don't even bring the kids because I'm drinking the whole time.
Oh.
It was a draw, wasn't it?
Best draw in highlight history.
But it was a comeback draw.
Was Ray there?
Well,
it was.
I mean, there's just shadow show. We'll devote 15 minutes to it later in the show, right?
The best game of the weekend was Cowboys and Giants.
Definitely.
Did you go to that game?
But the highlight game went.
Come on, guys. Marlins.
Tennessee was never made
Troy
These guys are unbelievable. And now he's in the big leagues. He's 2 home runs. You know, they called Troy Johnston the barista.
It's really delicious game thanks to Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons the other day. But his family came out lighting up their ass. Shot out of a cannon.
And he still put up
21 points in the third quarter. Fourth quarter.
They got to within 6 points of the last try. It's not going to happen.
There's a heavy people.
You know, they beat
They dug down deep. That Don Shula Trophy is not leaving South Dade Kia Field at Pitbull Stadium. That's staying right here. That thing is coming home, and it is staying home. And then they ripped that thing right off that trophy. Slap the shit out of it. Because that's what you do at the Shula Bowl. You rip off the helmet, and you destroy the opposing team's helmet, and you rip it off the trophy. And that thing's not going anywhere for a year.
All right, Smirnoff. Official vodka of the NFL, the world's #1 vodka. Here's the deal. Game day is everything. The noise, the rituals, the passion, the dip, the wings, the dip again. Smirnoff belongs in that mix because if you're tailgating or hosting or just sitting there checking your fantasy lineup every 30 seconds, you need Smirnoff. Otherwise, it's not a real game day. They've been doing this since 1864, which is, I don't even want to do the math, a long time. They're award-winning, they make cocktails super easy, and they're all about bringing fans together. So yeah, we do game days. That's their thing. And if you're over 21, you should too. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, number 21 vodka. Distilled from grain. 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Hey listeners, it's Mike. Hey Billy Gill.
Hey.
Hey Billy, as a proud member of your inner circle, remember when we were hanging out last weekend?
Oh yeah, fishtail palms.
The fishtail palms, the great memories we made, kids playing in the pool and in our hands, a nice ice cold can of Miller Lite. It was so hot out.
I know, but it was so cold in my hand.
We took that first sip. It was crisp. It was refreshing. Oh man, there is nothing like cracking open a Miller Lite with your crew and your inner circle bones.
Hell yeah. We fist bumped.
Whether it's, we actually really did. Yeah. Whether it's that touchdown.
Didn't make a sound, but I just thought
bam! Boom! Whether it's that touchdown you didn't see coming or just arguing about fantasy lineups, you and I did plenty of that. Miller Lite has been the taste that you can depend on for 50 years. Brewed for flavor, with simple ingredients, rich toffee notes, and that iconic golden color. And here's the kicker, Billy.
What?
It's just 96 calories.
What?
3.2 carbs. Huh? Per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 5 decades later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Who forgot to turn on the narcissist cam so that you could see how delighted Greg Cody was watching himself lip sync poorly?
Yep, really bad.
I don't know where to begin today on what was the most important thing from yesterday. I think it's going to be Joe Burrow's injury. It might be the Chiefs starting 0-2. I'm going to get some nominees from you guys in a second. But first, can we just eliminate the games I don't have to talk about from yesterday to make this a little bit easier? Because that 1 o'clock window was crack cocaine. Did you guys notice in the 1 o'clock window, any of you notice this? I, throughout it, was watching and I was like, what's weird about this other than the nine games? There's something weird about this, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I just sort of felt it, and then they gave the stat on television. The Giants and Cowboys haven't played at 1 o'clock in 20 years.
Really?
They've never been. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what. Like, I'm like, this is 9 games. This is 9 games, and that part's confusing to have this much going on. But also, I couldn't figure out what looked wrong, and it's that the Giants and Cowboys are too big as markets and important to ever demote like that. And I thought they played the best game, although I'm tempted to say Jacksonville-Cincinnati, because that is as inexplicable a loss I've ever seen from a team that was better throughout the game, that did just the assortment of things that the Jags always do to lose games. But what games can I eliminate?
Cardinals, Panthers, get out of here.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football sucked.
Yeah, bad game
Bad
last
one.
night.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Atlanta, pretty good, though. Atlanta Falcons.
I disagree.
Pretty good.
I disagree. I say Minnesota's got a quarterback problem, but we'll figure that out as we go. You guys
Seahawks-Steelers wasn't very good.
Well, that one's got some interesting stuff, though, and I'd eliminate Ravens-Browns before I eliminated that. I'm tempted to eliminate Bills-Jets, but I can't for a couple of reasons. Just a couple. One, and I know you guys have seen this before, but it bears repeating because it's a little bit crazy that Josh Allen is this as a human being. Sauce Gardner had him lined up unblocked from the blind side. Josh Allen knows he's so big that he just spun out of it. And Sauce Gardner looked like a toddler trying to tackle the upper body of Josh Allen. To see a quarterback spin away from a blindside, unblocked corner who's got him squared up and hits him in the back of the shoulders. And to see the size of that roll out just in that game, explain to me again why the Bills are going to own that division because none of the teams in there compare to the Bills. And the Dolphins are about to start 0-3. But also in that game, a worthy stat of the day, if we were doing that today, the Bills have now won the turnover battle with Josh Allen, who was super reckless at the beginning of his career, 24 straight times. It hasn't happened since 1966. Like, they're the best team ever with Josh Allen at quarterbacks for the most consecutive times, almost a couple of seasons, of they always win the turnover battle, and it's just not something I could have seen coming 3 years ago.
Look, I don't have skin in this local market game when it comes to pro football, but we firing a coach or what during this show?
Thank you for that, because Zaslow on Twitter was going crazy yesterday.
Why do I even do that? Like, why? I don't lose sleep in the Dolphins. I don't. Like, that emotional part of my fandom with the Dolphins does not exist anymore. I lost that a while ago. This team beat it out of me, all right? But it's 2 weeks in a row now that, like, I'm melting down on Twitter with this stupid team that I know is terrible. Why am I doing this?
Well, hold on, because Greg Cody has a different opinion
They're
than you.
so stupid.
But you are tweeting nonstop during the performance. Pathetic performance from Tua, same story, nice stats throughout the game, and then with the game on the line, he was horrendous. There it is, under 1.5 drives until the boos come down, cashes in. Tua is terrible, completely cooked, horrific team, says Zaslow.
All facts, by the way. I mean, like, I'm melting down, but it's all facts.
How about Achane stay in bounds?
Okay.
I mean, Tua led him perfectly to a game-scoring drive, and Achane, no spatial awareness, runs out of bounds, costs the team the game.
That was
that
crazy.
Guy.
Yeah.
You have to be wondering where his safety is on this roster.
Yeah, because I'm sure they would have
Achane.
stopped them when they got the ball back. That would have happened.
So, hold on. Greg, I know you have a different perspective on this. Achane has been great. Achane has been great the first 2 weeks of the season. Achane has been great at the goal line the first 2 weeks of the season, but that was rather inexplicable. Those touchdowns are hard to come by, except in the Pittsburgh game, where a Pittsburgh kickoff returner decides that he forgets the rules and should have been fired on the spot. The touchdowns are hard to come by, and Achane stepping out of bounds there is as clumsy as an athletic person.
He had so much room.
Didn't Antonio Brown have this happen to him one time in a 100-yard kickoff return where he would have won the game in the snow, but he stepped out of bounds at like the 8-yard line, and you're like, that's just clumsy. There was no one who was going to do anything to him there.
Brandon Marshall did it one time with the Dolphins, like 10 years ago. Just inexplicably, just kind of stepped out of bounds. There was no one there.
It happens. It's not like he did it on purpose. But I'm glad to see that Batard was able to rent that plane. What did it cost you? Like just under $2,000, I heard, right? Like $1,900 or
Banner's
something like
the first home game of the season. Patriots go right down the field and score. That defense is going to be historically bad. That is not a good Patriots offense. That's a bad Patriots offense. I know that 14-0 touchdown. I'm sorry, 12-0, because Borgalis was trying to help the University of Miami and the city of Miami to make it 12-0. That second touchdown.
Oh, you think there was some shadiness going on there?
Well, hold on a second.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Borregales, outside of Carlos Huerta, was the best University of Miami kicker I trusted the most. To see him miss 2 extra points that close was super confusing to me. But the touchdown that made it 12-0 was a thing of beauty. Drake May lobbing a little parabola over there on 3rd and long to make the catch. The Patriots, when I'm watching this game, I'm thinking to myself, my God, everything that's happening in this game is exactly the things that happen to a coach who's under it and going to get fired, because at the end of the game, they're just a little less disciplined than Vrabel's team. They do the stupid things of the false start, the delay of game.
Oh, it was awful.
You put it in 2nd and 20, you can move. And here's the thing about this. This one is the one that really hurts, okay? I know that everyone is focusing today on the lack of discipline on the last drive. The greatest advantage that Miami's supposed to have, the only way they beat Josh Allen, is to exhaust him in the heat. At the end of that game, when they're tired, is when their discipline's supposed to go. When they're tired. It's not supposed to happen to you when you're training all offseason in this heat. The advantage is that this season is over, Greg. They're not going to rebound from 0-3.
I dare you to counter it, Greg.
They're not going to be the team that rebounds from 0-3 to make the playoffs.
Right.
And by the way, it's going to be an 0-3 that they lose by 50 in 3
Hold
nights.
on a second. That game hasn't been played yet. We don't know what's going to happen Thursday.
Well, Buffalo's won 15 of the last 17 meetings, so I don't like their chances on a short week. But not to play the voice of reason here, but somebody has to, okay? At 0-2, I don't write them off yet. At 0-3, I don't write them off yet. Although, realistically, if I'm a betting man, of course, I'm betting against them making the playoffs at 0-3. They obviously played better yesterday than in the opener. It's a low bar. They couldn't do any worse than they did at Indy. But I think Tua to Tyreek looked more like 2023 than they have the past season plus.
Except on the one bad throw that Tua made that he needed to make. He only had 5 incompletions, but 2 of the passes were backbreakers.
Correct.
Tyreek Hill is wide open. Took himself out of the game on an important drive. He was so frustrated because Tua missed him when he was wide open.
On that long completion, he horribly
It was a
underthrew.
terrible, the 47-yard completion was actually a terrible throw.
Yeah, and he had an interception in the first quarter called back because of a penalty that had nothing to do with the interception.
Right, but the interception didn't come.
But it was an awful throw to start the game.
Tua didn't have a great game. He had a much better game than in the opener. I thought Tua's performance was encouraging. The problem is the defense is so
How can you do that,
bad.
Dad? I don't want to do this and just jump down your throat, but he looks so rattled in the pocket, even on the plays that go well. He just is I don't know if it's all the concussions he's had, but he just he's frantic in the pocket.
You know what nobody tells you about being a new dad? It's not just the diapers and the wipes, that's obvious. It's the hidden stuff, the baby swing after we already purchased the other baby swing, the bouncer, the pack and play, the 20 different bottles because apparently my kid hates every single one except the most expensive one, which is the glass, by the way. Don't get me started on late food delivery orders with my wife, and me too tired to even look or cook or think about food. I'm staring at my bank account like, where did it all go? That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's like a financial tool belt for everyone, not just dads. You link all your accounts, your credit cards, investments, even the old stuff from jobs you forgot about, and it lays out in a way that even a sleep-deprived parent like me can actually understand. Normally, money talks are stressful, but with Monarch, we can track everything together, set goals, and actually feel like we're on the same team. Less stress, more clarity, and finally, a plan for our daughter's future. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DAN at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DAN.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Dan Le Batard.
All right, we got to go back out there. That was big. Wake him up.
He doesn't want to be bothered anymore. Now it's getting tense because he didn't need that as a result. He needs something that happens.
You can see him mother effing out.
He says,
"Can we bother? Are we bothering you right now?
Turn on your microphone, Greg."
My microphone's on.
Stugotz.
Paint the scene.
Paint the scene is I got to go to work. Good night.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Hold on, guys, because 5 incompletions, 300 yards, and he could have won the game at the end. And I understand.
All screen passes.
Dan, he has never looked this bad.
I am not disagreeing.
I love Tua, but he has never looked this bad.
He's cooked. I'm not disagreeing, but if you guys are making this about Tua, give them that point total all season and watch them lose all the games because the defense cannot stop anybody. Like, the Patriots are really bad offense. Daniel Jones now has 2 Colts games, with no turnovers and no punts, twice as many of those in his Colts career as Peyton Manning. Daniel Jones did this to the Dolphins right down the field with an offense that appears to be good. The Patriots just did it to the Dolphins with an offense that is empirically bad, one of the worst in the league.
Here's the thing, though, and I got some of this on Twitter from Dolphin fans yesterday where I'm angry with Tua, and I've been a Tua guy. I'm angry with Tua because I know what I see, and this is a quarterback who is not any good anymore. So I'm angry about that. But here's the thing, and I feel like you just alluded to it as well. The Tua thing is so much, yes, there are several reasons why this team is terrible right now, but the only one that really matters is Tua, because the defense can be terrible. Guess what? They could fix that in the next year. The coach can be terrible. Guess what? They could fix that next year by firing him. If Tua's terrible, there's no fixing it. Like, it's a major, major issue. So when I talk about Tua being bad, yeah, there's a lot of other things that are really bad with this team right now, but long term, we can fix those things. If Tua's terrible, there's no fix.
Yeah, Tua was not terrible yesterday. He was actually pretty good. The defense lost that game, and special teams lost that game. If you think Tua and the offense were to blame yesterday, you didn't see the game I saw. The defense is terrible. They've had 15 series, opposing series this year, and allowed 13 scores. In 15 series, they had 2 stops. Hallelujah! The defense is awful. The cornerbacks are awful. The offensive line was awful before it became injury-prone. Those are the Achilles heels of this team. The pass defense led by bad cornerbacks and the offensive line that can't have a running game. Achane can't run the ball yet. He's done very well coming out of the backfield catching screen passes, so that pads his stats. But they're an egregiously flawed team. But yesterday, Tua and that offense were not the problem. They outgained the Patriots.
All right. I appreciate Greg's perspective here because it's certainly more interesting than all of us being like, this team's garbage, fire everybody. But we can see that you're a little bit more bullish on their chances and the season's not over. But that was still a really bad loss to a team that no
Agreed.
one... I mean, maybe some people have pegged the Patriots as a sleeper team, but the Dolphins entered this season with the hope and expectation that they would be better than Mike Vrabel's first year in New England.
Yes.
Okay? You had banners flying over the stadium. We set the scene up perfectly. This was as toxic as it's been around the fan base in quite some time. They have that performance. They lose the home opener. Should something be done about this team? Either front office, head coach, roster move? Does someone pay the price? Because the fan base has found this start unacceptable.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they expected to be 2-0 right now. And they were favored to win yesterday, albeit by 1.5 or 2. There's no question that it's been a major crash, a dumpster fire of a start. Somebody will be fired if it continues. And
you think mid-season?
It's possible.
Answer his question.
But you're not
though.
there yet.
Answer his question.
No one pays for what's happened so far.
No, after 2 games, no, I'm not there yet.
The reason that I'm stopping you is because of a couple of things. One, you say that's their Achilles heel. They are simply an Achilles heel. What isn't an Achilles heel for this team? Go ahead. I'm waiting.
They have above-average receiver room. Tua's coming off a good game, no matter what you say. A 317-yard game.
You cannot
with
say
great accuracy.
but you can't say that Tua is one of the strengths right now. The whole team.
Did you say great accuracy?
Yeah.
He missed like 4 passes, like the deep one, the one over Tyreek's head in the middle of the field when he's wide open.
He missed a total of 5 passes.
No, he had 5 incompletions, and they're protecting him even more than they've had to protect him. It's not a good thing when against that team at home, okay, you have no margin for error. Against the Patriots, no margin for error. You have to do everything perfectly. Part of the problem with the architecture of this team is that it has to do everything perfectly. Everything has to come out quickly. Everything has to protect Tua.
Right.
When you say they're Achilles heel, they are an Achilles heel. When I compare that to the University of Miami game, I am not prisoner of the moment when I say that is the most balanced football team I have seen at the University of Miami in a long time. The Dolphins are the opposite of that. Flaws all over the place. Flaws we can all know, and a historically bad defense, okay? Daniel Jones has started his career with no punts in a game and no turnovers in the first 2 games. That is historically
the front
good.
The defensive front 7 is passably okay. Chubb has 2 sacks in 2 games. Let's fine-tune it. It's the cornerback play that is a killer. It's the offensive line that is a killer. When you say they have an Achilles heel everywhere you look, that's not accurate. They have a quarterback you can win with. They have a better-than-average receiver room, even though they botched their tight end situation. And
Greg, you think something about the quarterback that is less certain than just about anybody right now.
Okay, but they're headed into this game against the Buffalo Bills, which Dan already highlighted. They look like an absolute wagon. We said this was basically a Waterloo game for all the powerful players in this franchise. They are not favored to win this game against Buffalo. Do you look around and say, this is the right group of men, either in leadership positions or on the field, to be like, yeah, okay, we can save our season here against the Buffalo Bills? Because if they didn't win that game against New England with the way that the tide was rising around them, how do you think they can figure it out for Buffalo?
Greg, Zaz speaks for the fan base.
I know he does. And I speak for myself. And what I think is that, and I've said and written this forever, so this is not new from me. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, they have massive changes. Greer gets fired, McDaniel gets fired. That's a 99% certainty. The only question is when. After the Bills, which everyone expects them to lose, they have a home game against the Jets, and then they play at the Panthers. If they come out of these first 5 games 0-5 or even 1-4, I think there could be a firing, an in-season firing, which is uncharacteristic. It hasn't happened in years. I don't think it's what Ross wants to do, but I think by 5 games in, the toxic surrounding this team will be too much to bear.
I want to go back to Tua for a moment here and something that you said, because obviously Tua was a lot better yesterday than he was in week number 1. But, you mentioned how Tua's performance yesterday was encouraging. We're not in year number 2 with Tua.
Right.
This is year 6.
Yeah. He made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, I'd remind you.
But he also looked a lot better 2 years ago than he does now, which is the concern. Like, he does not look like he used to 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that's why people are saying he doesn't look good, because he doesn't look up to the standard that we have set for him or that he set for himself.
That's the part, Dad, that's frustrating for me, is it seems like you're just like, I made this prediction, so no matter what I see on the field, I'm just going to say it. They're technically not done yet. It's what I'm seeing, because I'm with you. They could have won yesterday's game. They could be 1-1 right now. I don't think anyone's really arguing, like, yes, this team could be a 7-9 team, but like what I'm seeing from Tua, that it doesn't look like it used to. Something seems off with him. You don't see that?
Greg is reasonable, and he is applying the perspective you can almost all around the league for somebody like the Chiefs today if you want to. You can talk yourself into something. The thing about the Dolphins that makes it hard is, after week 1, nationally, everyone in the country was saying that's the worst performance that there was week 1. It's the way that they are losing. If you're a coach in trouble, those 2 games are the disaster, and what do you need at the end to be 1-1? You need your $250 million quarterback to once give you a game-winning drive where you trust him. Because I don't have a lot of those, Greg. I don't have a lot of, at the end of the game, when everything's not perfect, hey, Tua, do it in 2 minutes now. Do it quickly. Everyone knows what you got to do it. Give me all the ones you've got of Tua leading marches down the field. I got the Ravens game where they scored the 6 touchdowns. That's a comeback that I remember, but give me all the ones you got that make you, at the end of that game yesterday do something different than what I was doing. I'm like, that game's lost. I don't believe Tua will go down the field. I believe this team will do something to short circuit. And then they did all the things to short circuit.
No, they did the drive, and then they didn't do the drive because he was out of bounds. Like, we saw it happen, and then they're like, you know what? Forget what you just saw because he was 6 inches out of bounds.
So, yes, they get the 60-yard play, the fluky play from Achane, which is about the only thing they can do. Dump it off and see if Achane can do something in the open field. And he's been really good as a receiver. And Billy's not wrong. This might be an entirely different conversation if Achane stays in bounds, but he didn't. And when he didn't, you saw a false start, delay of game, 2nd and 20. And you're like, they're going backwards. They're going to try and get 20 yards, now 6 yards at a time. That's how they're going to get the 2nd and 20. They're not going to go down the field. It's going to be 6 and 7 yards. And they're going to put me in a situation where I'm watching 2 on 4th and 7. And I'm like, they're going to do something wrong here. And then they do.
I want to play this sound of McDaniel after the game because he tries to take responsibility while blaming other people. And this is a minute here of him trying to be the head coach and taking responsibility, but not.
Ultimately, I look at absolutely everything falling on me. So I don't see, that's the responsibility of a head coach that you go into knowing that. That being said, I'm very frustrated with, collective, there's some basically coaches and players that did not execute communication in a very dire period of the game with the game on the line. Our communication and our substitution was not up to par, and ultimately that is my, I hold all responsibility for all things.
Specifically the penultimate 4th down, was there a delay in deciding to go for it, getting the play call, breaking the
That's kind of where the frustration lies for me. It wasn't deciding that cost us or a late play call, which that happens at times, but this was not one of those times.
Not a deciding problem. He's basically just like, just so you know, this wasn't a decision thing. The decision was made and it wasn't executed properly.
Also, so that everyone understands, I'm ultimately responsible for everything, but I'm also going to give you a list of all the things that everyone else did wrong, but you can come back to me because I'm the head coach, okay? So ultimately it falls on me, but everyone else, not a good job.
I want to talk about home security for a minute. For the longest time, I thought it was just alarms and sirens, that once somebody breaks in, you deal with it. But when you think about it, that's already too late. That's reactive. I had my car broken into on my property a while back. The only thing I could do was call 911. That's reactive. I don't like leaving things up to chance. That's why I decided to install Simply Safe. Why? Because they flipped the idea of home security by making it proactive. Their Active Guard outdoor protection uses AI-powered cameras to actually identify people lurking around your property. And here's the key. Simply Safe's monitoring agents step in before anything goes down. They'll talk directly to intruders through the camera, light them up with spotlights, and even call the cops if they need to. That's not reacting. That's stopping crime before it starts. No contracts, no hidden fees. That's why they've been named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And they back it up with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe is offering Le Batard Show listeners 50% off a new system with professional monitoring. Plus, your first month is free. Visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim the offer. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. We've all done this. Gone to the wrong people for advice. You've got real problems and suddenly you're oversharing with your barber, your bartender, maybe even a stranger in the bathroom line. I know I've done this a time or two. And look, they're great for small talk, but they're not trained to help you with anxiety, relationships, or depression. That's the difference with therapy. Therapists are credentialed, clinically trained, and actually know what they're doing. Therapy isn't just for huge life crises either. It's about learning coping skills, setting boundaries, and getting tools to deal with everyday chaos. BetterHelp has been helping people find the right match for over 10 years, and they've got a 4.9 rating based on 1.7 million reviews. With over 30,000 licensed therapists, it's the world's largest online therapy platform, serving more than 5 million people. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/DLB. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Don Le Batard.
I may take it one step further.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You're getting sexier by the moment.
Slow down. We haven't even gotten
Stugotz.
I'm gonna
Jason Sanders, you're on notice.
Oh, my God.
One in spite Get him!
Oh, wow!
I love you, Duke.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So you were saying how you're just throw it to Achan and hopefully he makes something happen, right? Which is basically what was going on in the game yesterday. Like every positive play was Achan kind of making things just happen. So I decided to look up Achan. He had 92 receiving yards on 8 receptions. Do you want to guess how many yards after contact he had?
Oh, okay, hold it. So how many yards total?
92 total yards.
I like this game.
This is after this, we're gonna have a fun little experiment.
Okay, I'm gonna go 84.
84 yards after contact of his 92. Do you want to guess, Craig, how many yards after contact?
I'd say 58.
58 of his 92 were yards after contact. Dan?
I wasn't listening to you because I was asking Chris to cut sound, and you knew I was doing that. You saw me doing that.
Dirty move, Billy.
You saw me.
Okay, Mike McDaniel.
Let's play this.
He had 92 yards receiving. How many yards after contact? I'll just tell you, 102 yards after contact.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He had more yards after contact than he had total yards receiving.
Well, let's give Tua the credit for all those yards.
I was telling Chris Cody to play this sound because as this banner flies over the stadium and you lose that way, this is how Mike McDaniel sleeps at night.
Absolutely everything falling on me.
He's just like looking at the ceiling with one eye open.
Absolutely everything falling on me.
All right, I got to take. Someone needs to pay. I'm not buying this. And look, you probably can't
Absolutely everything falling on me.
You can't fire the head coach. Short week actually helps him here, despite we know that they're all going to lose that game.
No, the move to fire the coach is Friday when they lose 40-0.
Okay, you fire the GM. Here's why. Every time I look up and check out the Pittsburgh Steelers, I see Jalen Ramsey making an impactful decoy-type play, and I hear you guys talking about how bad the Dolphins' defense is, and I look up every time in black and gold, and I see that guy making a play. Also, Miami Dolphins tight end room. 2 catches, 20 yards this season. It kind of seems like Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey would help. And that was a very bad trade very early on. Fire the GM?
You mentioned, Zaslow's in on fire everybody.
Yes.
And Jeremy's whispering to me that this is going to be the second coach that Tua gets fired because, as we mentioned, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, like Brian Flores looks right. Like he didn't want to go to Tua. He believed that Ryan Fitzpatrick gave them a better chance to win. Chris Greer basically made him play Tua. And ultimately, given the offense where it was at, they were a worse team when Tua was on the field. Then Mike McDaniel hitches his wagon to, I'm going to make Tua better. Now, ultimately, like, the real elephant in the room is the reason this guy looks worse is because his brain is scrambled. Like, you don't process as quickly after however many concussions. But at the same time,
Dan's about to hit you with stop talking.
No, I'm trying to hit reckless speculation, but it's not working.
No, Dr. Teche made a good point there.
Well, he just said his brain is scrambled, and I guess we can assume that. He doesn't look the same, but also his offensive line stinks, and
look, you're making a bunch of bad decisions, right? Like, isn't that processing?
I think so. I've made a lot of bad decisions in terms of how I've done the analysis of his entire career because brain scrambling as an ingredient is not something we've had to do before very much in quarterback measurements. But yes, we're all doctors now, and when he misses Tyreek Hill, and he was Drew Brees percentage-wise last season, he's the most accurate quarterback McDaniel's ever seen, the most accurate quarterback many of us have ever seen. And now there's more inaccuracy. Now we're all doctors, and it's not his arm, it's his brain. And I don't know. Because it could be his offensive line. It could be that he and Tyreek are not the same as they were. If it wasn't but 18 months ago that throw to Tyreek in a training camp was proof that Tua can't throw the deep ball. That was 18 months ago.
Even if ultimately put the brain stuff aside, right? Like, you make the comparison to Drew Brees. You make the comparison to Drew Brees. The reason Drew Brees was this elite all-time quarterback is he was reaching those completion percentages in an era where no one else was. Now you have these dynamic quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, like Josh Allen, like Jalen Hurts, who ultimately are reaching the same completion percentages, but doing all of these other things that Tua physically cannot do. And that's the disparity. He could statistically continue to be this guy who only throws however many incompletions. But if all he can do is dink and dunk around the field, you're not going to be successful.
It's not the same offense as it was a few years ago. I understand the offensive line is not very good right now, but man, they were picking up 3rd and 10 like it's nothing. And now it's all dinking and dunking. And look, I get it, the offensive line stinks, but if you're a quarterback in your 6th year and you were the number 5 overall pick, the expectation needs to be a little bit higher than things are going to go well only if the surrounding circumstances are perfect.
But, Zaz, it's worse than that, because when Chris is saying they can't fix it, they can. They might have the number 1 pick, and they can fix it with the number 1 pick. But they've tied up so much money in this that they no longer have the greatest advantage that they had in the Tua window, which is they had value at quarterback cheap. Now it's not that anymore. Now it's expensive, and you don't trust it, and you don't trust it at the end of games. And I will remind you, that point total is sufficient to win an NFL game. That defense is historically bad. They haven't gotten to the tough offenses yet. Like, the Colts look improved. I'd like to see a pass rush against the Colts. I'd like to see Daniel Jones bothered a bit, because I haven't seen a whole lot of that. He looks a lot different than he did with the Giants, obviously. Their skill guys are better, but I haven't seen him bothered a whole bunch. And I haven't seen the Dolphins defense bother anybody. They're not. To have 2 stops, going back to last season, going back to the end of last season, it was like 15 consecutive drives where they were allowing points. It's historically bad, Greg, and not the tough offenses yet.
Right. So I am sort of wondering why we continue to blame Tua for this loss, because, as you say, it falls on the defense and special teams. I would have loved it if Mike McDaniel in his post-game talk had said, hey, by the way, I just fired my special teams coach, because guess what? We probably win that game if we don't give up a 90-yard kickoff return touchdown.
They also got a punt return touchdown.
Yeah, right before that.
Right, but
and then they have the momentum, and the stadium's going crazy for the first time all day, and they give up that kick return touchdown? Inexcusable. I would fire the special teams coach.
I think also a place where someone like me comes after Tua in that spot is we know what they're paying him. He's established in this league for long enough. It is a fair expectation, Greg. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is a fair expectation for that quarterback who this team is invested in to have 2 opportunities with just a couple minutes left in the game.
It took 40 minutes and 2 weeks of badgering, but we've gotten Greg Cody to fire someone. He came home after a bad day of work. He kicked the pet dog, but yes, he fired a special teams coach.
Charlie?
He fired a special teams coach.
Yeah.
There you go.
If I kick my dog, he'll kick back. Trust me.
That's who everybody's flying banners for right now. You have just appeased the fan base.
I don't know why you guys wrote off this game as though they've already lost the Bills. You know what we saw yesterday for the first time? I don't know if you guys caught this. Josh Allen is human, and he bleeds human blood. He dinged his head. He had to leave for a couple plays.
Did he break his nose? Did he break?
I don't know. He's back like a play later. The guy's not a human.
It looked like he broke his nose.
Yeah, he had gauze in his left nostril.
The thing,
he just said he was human.
The thing that I am concerned about, I don't know what the point spread is going to be in that Bills
1 million.
Dolphins game.
12.5.
It's going to keep going. It's going to keep
halftime line?
going up.
I like Miami with the points.
Of course, you're Homer Cody. The thing that's
Mark
troublesome about the first 2 games and what I keep saying is a historically bad defense, they haven't played the stars of the league yet. Jonathan Taylor, they haven't had to stop somebody who's actually impossible to stop. That's a defense that's a sieve, even though the great players on offense, the best that they've played so far it's Jonathan Taylor. That's the best that they've played against so far.
Well, he's pretty good, but
I'm saying that when those corners have to start covering receivers that are impossible to cover,
right?
And tight ends that are impossible to cover. You guys just said the Dolphins miss Jonnu Smith. Yes, they do. And I also saw a different Miami team, the college one, doesn't seem to need a tight end at all. They're not doing anything with a tight end, but they've improved all those receivers. It's not just Restrepo running around out there anymore.
I think Carson Beck targeted 15 different receivers, and the message boards were like, "Wow, we forgot about the tight ends." I mean,
That's
Royal looked pretty good last year.
And then you see what Cam Ward does. It's not about the numbers. I don't care how many points they put up.
Throw from Cam Ward.
It's seeing guys around the league doing things.
They tell you don't throw across your body, Cam Ward.
It's like I want one of those. I want a Cam Ward.
Sure, you want everybody except Tua.
Tua is out of the pocket a couple times today, and it's like, I'm doing the opposite. I'm like, oh no! Like I hate this.
Greg, he's awful with the game on the line, Tua. He's awful. And like if we were to go back and look at the stats, what he is late in these close games, I'm sure they're going to tell us he's awful.
That part is empirical. That's not, it's not. You go ahead, even as Homer Coney, name all the game-winning drives of Tua you remember.
I don't catalog those kind of minutiae.
You got to take a quiz.
No, but I will say this. We're picking a weird time to get on Tua after he had an appreciably better game than he did in the opener. If that's the Tua with a couple of touchdowns and one interception and that
Greg, you need your $250 million quarterback to win you some games.
It's literally his job. Even in games that the defense is terrible, it's literally Tua's job. When you're paid like that, I'm sorry.
Back off.
I've told you, I'm mad. You saw me on Twitter yesterday. I'm mad.
He fired the special teams coordinator.
I'm not mad at Greg.
He gave you something.
There's going to be a scapegoat. Before they fire Greer and McDaniel in season, there will be a scapegoat.
Slowik's out of here.
Of the order of the special teams coach.
You broke him down. You've been attacking the man for 25 minutes.
I'm not mad at him.
25 years.
You made him the projection of the establishment Miami Dolphins. Relax. You fired somebody.
Okay, the only reason that I'm doing this, so that you know, I've always tried. You guys know this about me. I'm not the person who hyperventilates 2 weeks into a season.
Yeah, you are.
But what? Not usually.
But now you are.
But because, Greg, it's not that
watching the games.
It's not that they lost. It's not. It's the most catastrophic ways to lose. We haven't even gotten to the part where Tua misses 4 games because something is like we haven't even gotten to the part where the skill guys get hurt. Like that. The season is over after 2 games, and I don't think I've ever said that in my in covering the Dolphins.
In years that you thought they were going to be like
not even the 1 in 15 season. I don't think I've ever said at 0-2. Oh no, this is so calamitous. They've got so many problems of the kind that you can't get over, including if you don't trust your quarterback and don't trust him late. I'd put it low on the list. They can't stop anybody.
I think the most inexcusable part about all of this, though, is everyone saw this coming headed into the offseason, and that's why everyone was like, you need to replace Greer. And then as soon as the season ended, like the next day, Stephen Ross came out and said, you know what? Everyone's safe. Everyone's coming back next year. And then the entire offseason went by with no adjustment, seemingly, except downgrading by trading away players. So this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that this is how this is going.
I mean, Greer, look, we know it's no playoff wins his entire actually existence with the organization, not just as general manager. It's going to be another head coach that he hired, another one that he hired, fired, and he gave the quarterback $200 million, and it is proved to be dead wrong. How do you... And the rebuild is in year 7 now. How do you survive all of this?
Greg,
you don't. Both of them are going to be fired if this continues. I'm just not ready to fire everybody after 2 games. I think that's the fundamental difference here. I don't disagree that it's a dumpster fire right now and that they look really, really bad in 2 key areas, cornerback and offensive line. The only difference is I don't want to fire people right now. And I was half kidding about the special teams coach. That would have been
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Nothing good will ever... Just predict 0-17. Get on the record with that. Christ almighty.
Do you know you were hard networked out?
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo. The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.